Hi, everyone. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in the following podcast belong solely to the host and its contributors. They are not necessarily the views of our employers, organizations, committees, or other group or individual.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Brewing with BIM. I'm Joe Whitney, and with me is always David Campbell. What's up, Dave?
Hey, not much. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Oh man, I see you're enjoying the beautiful weather behind you.
Oh yes, the Pacific Northwest has been pretty beautiful the past couple of weeks. I've been enjoying the weather. Top off of the Jeep Gladiator, top and doors off, driving around trying to take in all the sunshine.
Oh man, get that vitamin D fix while you still can.
Oh yeah, that's
we
for sure.
we've kind of switched places. I've had rain like nonstop the past few days, man. Be like 70, 80 degrees outside, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And then I feel a little sprinkle, and then it just dumps on me, and I'm like, damn it. Damn it. Well, we got a cool episode today. We're going to chat about, pretty much nothing, right? As always.
Yeah.
Now, this one is, we thought we'd do a part 2 of our BSing with BIM. Where in the past we just chatted about, topics that were relevant topics, how many topics that are going on right now in the BIM community. We got quite a list. I'm filling up my whiteboard right next to me here with things that, we got to get to. But before we do any of that, man, what are you drinking?
So I got a couple different things today, both from Oregon. I have a Stone Circle cider made in Estacada. It's a lavender tarragon, and I'm pretty excited about that. And the other thing, dude, I was looking at the liquor store today, like, man, what do I want to get? What do I really want to kind of bring on the podcast today? What could be a little original? And I found something I've never tried before, and it's a hopped whiskey. So Double Mountain Brewery got together with Hood River Distillers, and they made a whiskey that was hopped with Apollo and Whole Leaf Cascade hops. So I'm pretty excited to kind of give this a try. I've got it over ice today, so figured I'd just kind of double fist it a little bit,
Yeah, liquor first, then beer. You're in the clear.
Yeah, liquor before beer, then you're in the clear. Beer before liquor, then you're getting sicker.
Yeah. Woohoo, college, high school, whatever.
Life's lessons.
Yeah, depends on where you grew up. Today, man, I am drinking, it's called Jam Up the Mash, and it's by this brewery called Collective Arts. And I was super pretentious when I bought it. I bought it because it was like $12 for a 4-pack, and it had really cool artwork. So that was it. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll buy it. And it turns out to be probably my new favorite beer.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite delicious. It's a Canadian beer. It's made in Toronto, Canada, and they've got all this cool artwork all over the different cans and stuff. And it's a dry hop sour, which you were just talking about your hopped whiskey, and that sounds like a very unique baby. Marrying whiskey and hops. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
This is like if a IPA and a sour had a baby that ended up leaning more towards the sour. That's what this is, and it is fantastic. It is it's pretty low on the alcohol volume, on the alcohol by volume, 5.2.
But you can drink more of them.
Yeah, it just means I got to buy like 10 of these 6-packs. Just kidding.
Spend more money to get the buzz.
They're pints though, which is cool. They're not just 12-ounce cans. And there's 3 hops in here. There's the Vic Secret, which are the Australian hops that have like the great pineapple flavor. Oh, it's so good, pineapple and passion fruit. I always like beers brewed with that. The traditional Citra, which is just citrus notes, and then the Mosaic, which is IPAs, American Pale Ales. It's very, very bitter. So like that's what's giving it the bitterness, that Mosaic really that makes me think of the IPA. But oh, dude, it's delicious, man.
Yeah. All right. Man, I'm actually digging on this this hopped whiskey. Honestly, it's nice and smooth. It's got a I almost want to say like a citrusy kind of taste to it. Like you can kind of taste a little bit of the hops, but I mean, honestly, it's good. It's really good. A really good combination. I like this a lot. I don't know if it'd be good for For an old fashioned, I might have to try it. But I mean, I think for a sipping whiskey, this is really good.
All right.
41% and 82 proof.
Yeah. I might have to snag me a bottle of that.
Yeah, dude, I have to check it out. I'd recommend it. I would recommend it.
I don't know what I would. Again, you were talking about mixers and stuff. I don't know what I would do with it. I like drinking. I'm a big whiskey connoisseur. At least I used to be. I just don't have the time to sit around and drink whiskey anymore, except for this podcast.
Yeah, that's it, dude.
But I'd like to up my stash and get some nice little bottles.
$22, man.
This was awesome. Dude, that's nothing, man. Yeah,
right? That's
nothing for whiskey. Yeah.
No. Heck yeah. And I mean, I'm like, wow, that's kind of cheap. But you know what? No, I'll try it. And sure enough, it's a good whiskey. I like it.
Yeah. Hey, man, my go-to is Bullet, which is like, what, $35, $38? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. It's just like...
It's how you like it. It's really, that's it. It's what you like and how you like it.
And those typically aren't like sipping whiskeys. Those are like, I usually mix them with some stuff. Like on that one episode, I candied the lemons. Dude, that was the best old fashioned ever, man. Hands down. Like just
you got me wanting to candy some oranges. That's what I want to do for an old fashioned. I got aromatic orange bitters in there, and I've started kind of tweaking how I make my old fashions just to see. I love that orange taste, man. If I could take an orange peel, twist it, put it in there with some orange bitters.
Angostura bitters, is that what it is?
Something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. Yes, yeah, they're bitters. But yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, though, one of my favorite whiskeys I've found so far for old fashions has been Buffalo Trace. I really enjoy Buffalo Trace with an old fashioned, just because it's a kind of sweet whiskey, right? Yeah. And it complements the sweetness of the old fashioned very well. But shit, if I'm balling on a budget, I'll go with a box of whiskey and make that into some freaking old
I have never seen a box of whiskey before. It was all you brought that stuff, and I was just like, oh my gosh, man. That's pretty. No I'm jealous of your cigar, man.
Oh, dude. Thank you. I got some whiskey and a cigar, bro. It's a beautiful day to sit out on the porch, enjoy some whiskey, and smoke I got a Havana honey and smoke a little cigar.
Oh man, see, I got some cigars in my glove box, and I probably dried out by now, but can't go outside because it's been raining off and on the past week. So
yep. You're gonna be throwing this back in my face in like a week or two. You'll be like, hey, Dave, it's beautiful and sunny out here. How's it in Portland? I'm like, fucking raining for 2 weeks.
You know what? I can't complain though, because I'm inside working. So I work on my my 8 to 5, do my job. And at 5 o'clock it hits, 5:30 hits. I'm upstairs, remodeling the kitchen, getting on that. We did the tile today. So it's like, if we're going to have bad weather, have it while I'm not going outside.
That's true. Oh, yeah. That's true. But, dude, your kitchen project's looking good. Good job on that tile.
Yeah, thanks, man. Just finished grout today, which is why we ended up doing this a little bit later. And no excuses, man. You were like beat me to it, and you had an actual emergency on your hands.
Dude, yeah, that was interesting. It's one of those dad things, one of my kids, Ivory, my oldest, actually fell off the swing today and fractured her foot twice. So that called for an urgent care trip. Funny because I just had a doctor's appointment there this morning. I went in and I'm trying to go back to physical therapy for my shoulders and stuff. And it was so funny. The lady at the front desk looks at me and she's like, weren't you just here this morning? I like it here, I guess. I don't know.
You guys didn't have enough of my money. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Got to come back for more. Here you go.
Oh, fun, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still envious. You got the beautiful weather. You got good whiskey.
Yep.
And got a little stogie there, man. Nice.
Oh yeah. So let's kick this off. What's the plan for today?
Man. All right, man. So this. There was an update to Revit. Mm-hmm. There's an open letter that has made some news and got some attention. there were some cool videos shared about the Infraworks COVID workflow. Some changes made with the cloud model and design and all that stuff. So we're going to chat about all this stuff today, all the things that have changed, and then take about a million tangents. So that's the plan.
Sounds good. Sounds like a good plan.
Cool, man. Well, let's kick this off, dude. So I guess first and foremost, man, let's start with Revit, dude. All right.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
beast here in the room. Well, actually, let's start this off first. So let's start with a letter. So there was a letter penned by someone. Yeah, it feeds into the Revit piece.
Yeah.
So for those of you guys that don't know, there's this letter from some of the world's largest architecture firms. They joined together and they wrote this open letter criticizing Autodesk for lack of development and increasing prices. And it's kind of an eye opener. It's like, oh my gosh, like, are they, what's going to happen to Revit? What's, and everybody's like, oh, finally somebody's, pardon me, saying something to Autodesk. And then you hear something back, everybody else start to chime back. That's on the other side. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, Revit's undergone, I guess, let me back up. They said that Revit hasn't had any advancements for architecture firms.
Yeah.
Which in some cases can be considered true. Like most of the advancements and the major advancements anyways, the overhauls in the past few years, at least to me that I've seen, were, trying to make Revit multidiscipline, like really well. Think about Revit not working for architects. It sucks for subcontractors. What the hell are you guys talking about? Like, well, it's beautiful for architects.
Dude, I think the reply from Andrew Agnos, like the CEO of Autodesk, was actually pretty spot on, and I looked at this from a few different ways. Revit has grown exponentially in the years that Autodesk has had it, right? It really has, and lately, as you've said, they've been focusing on, let's see, for subcontractors for a big portion of it, but they've been focusing on making it multidiscipline. You've seen a lot of improvements with Revit structure, and you've seen a lot of improvements with Revit MEP. Now, there have still been consistent improvements I've seen with Autodesk architecture, Autodesk Revit architecture, right? I could see things here and there where they could improve, but I think if I'm honest, that's any software out there. Yeah. You're gonna see different ways to improve. You can't make everybody happy, but at the same time, they cannot focus on architecture with it. Revit itself is about collaboration. It's feeding into BIM, and with BIM, we want to bridge that gap between all the disciplines, bring all that data together, right, and make it easily digestible, not only for the design phase, but into construction. And I think that's really what they've been focusing on, especially with BIM 360 and things like that. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but I think really Autodesk has been pretty good with advancing Revit. But at the same time, that letter was eye-opening in the same sense of like, prices are going up. They are going up.
But I don't know if they are going up. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm a little biased here, right? I'm on the Autodesk sales rep. And I don't work for Autodesk. I work for another reseller, a platinum reseller, and I'm an Autodesk sales rep. So I deal with this all the time. But I can tell you, the cost of software has gone down for the initial purchase, right? Obviously, you're just paying over every year. But those maintenance users that they were used to just paying this, they pay $13,000 for a building design suite or whatever back in the day, and then they pay $1,100 a year for maintenance or whatever it was. They're used to doing that. But here's the issue that I don't get. Well, that doesn't change. If you still had those maintenance seats, you still only pay like $1,100 a year. So, so nothing's changed. But to play devil's advocate here, there are two things that kind of irked me. One, in that letter from them actually hit home, and it is a big deal. And that is Revit is single core. It means you could have all the cores in the world, but most of your Autodesk products only run one core. So it's a resource hog in that way, and it sucks because you would think that a program of that scale would want to utilize multiple cores. I don't know what the science is behind it. I don't know the reasoning. I just, as a user, it's like, damn it, this would be so much better if I wasn't constrained.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, when you go to operate Revit nowadays, you got to have a computer that is pretty sturdy, right? It's got to be beefy. It's got to be able to support the different workflows that you want to do. And if you get into point clouds and things like that, dude, it's got to be really good, right? I mean, I think that's one big reason we've seen companies like Unify step in and start adding like more value there, because they're like, man, these models can use these video game graphics, right, as for walkthroughs and things like that. The more we get into, I actually talked about it on my blog there, but visualization of this model. Visualization is key, and the size of these models, the data that they take up, and then the more materials and things you put into them, they get bigger and bigger, and it does put a really heavy toll on your computers, I would say, for how much you're using them. I'm actually looking forward to, on the flip side of that, I'm looking forward to when we can push all of this up to the cloud. And when we can start using, I almost want to say like remote desktops, but utilizing Autodesk Revit from the cloud on my, Chromebook or whatever it is, doesn't really matter. I use the cloud to compute whatever I need, and then I pull it down onto my desktop for when I need to, operate into it. Well, I connect to it, let's say.
Yeah, and I don't know, some part of me is like, yeah, that's great, like having your software in the cloud, but internet's always an issue, bandwidth's always an issue, connectivity. It's like, sometimes I like just being self-contained,
Yeah.
I don't know, not like, imagine it this way. If you were a consultant and you went on vacation out in the woods or something like that, you brought your laptop to work, you can still work without internet, that's fine. And then your Monday morning deadline or whatever it is can still be met. And you didn't have to sacrifice your vacation. I'm sure you got to sacrifice time on your vacation, but you didn't have to sacrifice your vacation, that sort of stuff,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
but
definitely true. We got to get both sides of the coin.
Yeah. And I mean, there's companies already out there that are doing some stuff with remote, virtualization, VDI environments for software. So like if you have, what's some of the other options out there? So we've got remote desktops, stuff like that, where
I've seen Nutanix, the XI frame. I think it was a frame.
Yeah, frame was one. Yeah, but I have customers that have like their laptops in their office and they VPN into it. They've prioritized their networks in such a way that there's no lag for them working on their computer, that way, or they're working on it from a virtual server from a server farm up in New York or something, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So there's no downtime. The only issue though is, internet connection at that point. But they swear by no lag. They said it works great. I don't know.
Well, there's this big movement in our country, in the world right now, I would say. I've been kind of studying it for the past couple of years, and a lot of people are called digital nomads, right? Where they're consultants or
I can totally
draftsmen.
see you in a freaking Winnebago driving cross country.
You have no idea. In a second, bro. In a second. I see one of those Winnebagos this weekend as we were driving around up on the mountain, and I was like, yes. I would be all over that. Yes, I would definitely be a digital nomad if I could.
Oh yeah, man.
I love that movement. I think that the more we can get out of, I think going to the office is cool. I do, just because, you connect with your peers and you can start connecting with other people. It forces you to kind of think you're at work. But at the same time, dude, Corona and just being at home, working from home, it's been a different kind of experience. And I think about, man, if I could travel and just live wherever I wanted and do this still. Like, you can drive around the country, work from wherever you want to, and still be able to produce these, awesome models, these renderings, these drawings, what have you. Awesome idea. Yeah. I'll get behind that any day.
I'd get behind that too, my man. I would do some. I'd have fun with that. It just, it seems hard when you think about it in the context of like needing personal space to get work done and having your kids are all around you and your wife, and it's tough when they're at home with you, but imagine being in something like a Winnebago. Just
that's got to be when my kids are out. That's got to be when the kids are out. They don't make a Winnebago big enough for all 6 of us.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna need you to disappear for about 7 hours. Can you guys do that? Daddy's got a deadline.
Right? Can you guys just go for a long hike?
Oh man. Man. So like, I'm with you. I idolize that. There's something poetic and romantic about that notion, especially as I'm seeing all these beautiful pine trees behind you. And it's easy to fantasize about that, but there's downsides. Just like there's downsides to having those pine trees. I had like 40 in my backyard, and it doesn't matter how careful we were. Pine needles were everywhere. We couldn't grow grass in our backyard.
Dude, I'm having an issue with my front yard. I just freaking leveled it out before we left. I seeded it, and I'm feeling all good. And then I come back, and the whole dang front yard is just covered in pine needles. And I'm like, oh.
Ow, that acid just your grass. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Awesome. Yeah. The joys of being a homeowner, huh? Yeah. But no, dude, speaking of collaboration, I mean, pushing past that open letter, I would say, I mean, there's a lot of things that, a lot of areas I feel like Autodesk could improve Revit, especially in the architecture realm.
So everybody though, right? Every no software is perfect. ArchiCAD's not perfect. SketchUp's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. You pick your poison, you double down on it, and you stick with it, and hope it works for you. The cost increase stuff though, depends on how you're buying. I get that there could be some issues there. But that said, if we were just picking apart the development side, there has been development. Yeah, granted, it hasn't always been just for architects. But that said, this release was pretty dang cool. I mean,
Yep.
There's a lot.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool, dude. I mean, honestly, 2021 in itself, like I love the 2021.1 release and some of the new things that it brings with it. But the 2021 in general, like I like a lot of the improvements that they've been continuously doing with Revit. And another thing I was thinking about, is honestly, where do you find, and this may just be my ignorance, I don't know. But where do you find the capability? Where do you find the capability to collaborate in the sense of like the Autodesk package, right? Not just Revit. If we're going to expand past Revit, you're going to go into Civil 3D, Infraworks, FormIt, Inventor. Just this entire span of different softwares that connect together to benefit these workflows, whether they are manufacturing focused, they're animating focused, or they're actually like construction focused. I mean, I think the entire package, when you look at it and the capability, she made me an old fashioned. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Awesome. Adrian,
is mine on its way?
Dude, yeah. It's one next day shipping priority.
Sweet. And we're gonna take a break, guys, and we'll resume this tomorrow.
You get it? This is shit. It's the best old fashioned ever.
Why is it watered down? Damn it, the ice melted.
No, man, I think the offerings that they have and the way that we can put everything together, I think is another huge key factor in Autodesk in general, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't really know of any other companies that offer that wide of a breadth, right?
Yeah, so maybe not to the breadth that Autodesk offers software, but those that do offer software, usually there's some interoperability between the different disciplines. But you're right though, man. Like, who else does movies and video games, architecture, engineering, construction, manufacturing, 3D printing organs, card. Like, who does all that stuff? Nobody.
Yeah, nobody, dude. And I mean, you're looking at Revit alone. When you look at Revit alone, Revit focuses on structural, architectural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, right? But also a little bit of like landscaping architecture here and there. I mean, there's little things, of course, that Revit can be supplemented to and from.
It encompasses other disciplines though. Like it encompasses civil engineering, disciplines. Not to the fact that we can do that inside of Revit, but it allows us to bring this into Revit and actually have some kind of interoperability between the two. And it's tremendous to think about stuff like that.
It really is.
So you were just talking about 2021 though, and the best things that things that have happened that are revolutionary. My favorite thing of 2021 so far, and it's one that I'll be honest, I haven't played with as much, but it's just so damn cool to see, is the generative design stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
I mean, come on, like, where was this 10 years ago? Autodesk is definitely doing some cool stuff there. Maybe not pushing the boundaries as much as like people that are off doing it themselves, but having it baked into your design package, not as a third-party add-on, that's pretty cool.
Dude, I think it's very powerful, and I think it's awesome. Like, yes, I know that we're still in the baby step phase, and there's a lot of people out there that are so ridiculously smart, and even people that they'll say they're not that smart, but they are whiz in Dynamo or C# or what have you. That's their niche.
Some of the most talented people I've met have said I'm not that smart. It's like,
yeah, dude. Okay. All right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Modest.
Yeah. You way to be humble, bro. Thank you. Way to be humble. But
well, if you're not that smart, I am a freaking wooden dummy, dude.
I am a Neanderthal over here. But no, dude, it's nice because you're seeing that built in, and you're seeing that it's being pushed more and more. And since they've opened it up to everybody, that Project Refinery, and there's more. There's a place, I can't remember what it is. There's an actual place to host some of the generative design scripts. And I think it was Project Refinery like last year. I don't know what it is now, if it's changed or not. I haven't been on it, but I know that there's a place that you can go, and I've read certain forums about how there's ways you can adopt other people's scripts and you can start playing with it. And there's a library of different scripts that you can go through to kind of get different results. And I honestly think the more that we can move from that, let's say, baby, crawling phase to walking, right? And then running. And I cannot wait to see what the running phase of generative design looks like. I really can't. Just because.
It's scary, man.
It is. It's going to be scary.
It's taking over the world.
Yeah. Back in the day, back in the day, one of my instructors always used to say, when you think about a career, you want to think about what you can do that cannot be replaced by a machine. Like, really, because that's how you know that you're in a good career. Like, you can spend the rest of your life there, right? Well, right now, we got a bunch of draftsmen like, wait a minute, like,
this could automate me out of a job.
Right. You could automate me out of a job, or you could help me do my job easier. Right. And I think that's really what it is. I think it's gotta. I'm gonna take this old fashioned. I want to move on to that tarragon, but I'm gonna drink the old fashioned first, just because.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Yeah. No, I hear you though. There's a fine line, and there was a video. It might have even been at an Autodesk presentation or something. I don't recall, but it was talking about like the integration between machine and man and machine.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, man, machine doesn't replace man. Man uses machine to work smarter. So there was a guy, and I think he was like either older or had a missing limb or something like that, but he used a robot to help him do his job, and it actually like made him more efficient, more productive, and he was able to work, for longer than he probably would have been able to without it. So.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I've been seeing the more robotics used on construction sites, right? We talked about this.
That's a big trend, man.
Dude. We talked about it like a few months ago, right? And we were talking about automatic like bricklaying robots. We're talking about exoskeleton suits. There's so many different things that can really enable us. Because I mean, everybody knows, and I mean, you could be the strongest freaking person out there, but every human being has weaknesses. Right? We are all weak in one way or another. Oh, no. We are. We can all be supported in one way or another. And that Joe Rogan podcast, actually, you turned me on to Joe Rogan, right? And we were watching Joe Rogan podcast. There was a guy on there that really talked about using robotics and AI not to replace what you're doing, but to give yourself more time to be creative, more give yourself like use a robot, use this AI to take away the tedious tasks and focus on what you can do to be better. Like, okay, cool. This is doing that. Let's move on. Let's do some things that we haven't been able to do before.
Yeah, you're not. So, I mean, like that, and that gets at like the heart of just being, alive today is we're so busy going through the slog, like the day-to-day grind, trying to bust shit out, trying to keep up with, everything that we got to do, that we don't have time to really problem solve. We don't have time to be creative, to focus on the things, to appreciate things. And hell, I'm saying this from experience, man. I do my 8 to 5, sometimes 8 to 6, 8 to 6:30. And it's not ridiculous by any means. A lot of people do a lot worse, but I remember when I lived in Portland and working, sitting in the car for an hour and a half each day. It just adds up. It's like, well, how much time do you really have to be a dad, to be a husband, to get the stuff done in your house, to like do all that stuff.
Yep.
It's like, well, if I, to appreciate things really, like I tell you, there was a stretch there where I didn't listen to music for like maybe a year and a half. And you would think that I had all this time in the car to get stuff done, but I was on the phone. I was trying to get stuff done. Trying to arrange doctor appointments for my kids. There was probably about a year where I just didn't have time to listen to music. That is a sad thought. Like, didn't have time to enjoy something as basic as music.
Yeah, dude.
It's just crazy, man. Yeah,
dude. I feel another Better You, Better BIM episode coming on because I've been on Audible lately, and the coronavirus has kind of made us all step back, I think, and kind of think like, how can I do better? How can I be better? I'm at home and I have a little bit more time. Like for me, I'm saving 35 minutes there and 35 minutes back. So 70 minutes a day for driving to the office and
beautiful,
back.
Man.
It is. It's very beautiful.
Plus, you're making your own lunches.
Exactly, dude.
Making
our own lunches, everything. And I keep, I started thinking like, man, I need to start doing better things with my time because I feel like I don't have enough time. But I talked about this before. Steve Cam actually said it's not really the time that you have, it's prioritizing the time, the things that you want to do in the time that you have. The time that you have remains the same no matter what, right?
Yeah.
You have
24 hours a day, 7 days in a week.
Exactly. That's it. You have that time. The way that you choose to spend it is your priorities, whatever you prioritize at that time. And I've been reading and listening to a lot of books lately. One of them was Winning the Battle Against Yourself, like getting your shit together, right? And figuring out better you, how to organize and shit like that. I'm like, fuck yeah. And I start listening to this and I'm thinking like, man, this would be so good, and not just, for me, I think, but also everybody, in a sense of like, get your shit together, get organized, things like how the way that you want to do it and control these things, and do not allow everything around you. Like it was saying, like 98% of what happens in your typical day is under your control. It's 2% of what happens around you you cannot control. Like it's just shit that happens. You cannot control it. Other people, whatever it is. But with that 2%, you still control the way that you react to those situations. Yeah. I was like, damn.
This is like everything you're saying has been like part of like sales training after sales training that I've attended.
Oh shit!
It's like, all right, well, let's map out your day. Well, you're just let's really put it down on paper and prioritize. You got to prioritize, and then like well, how are you controlling your time? This is all you. Don't be reactive. How are you controlling it? Oh, and then it's not about when you do get bad news, when if you lost that deal or whatever it is, it's not about like trying to be all angry or whatever.
Yep.
Try to figure it out or what's going on. Dude,
figure it out how it went wrong and move on. Take it to the next one. Yeah.
Take it to the next one. Yeah. And then it's all about like just reacting, like figuring out how you can bring a better attitude, like to the whole situation, because it's all on you. It's not about you can always control how you respond, and that's the number one thing. It's like you control you. That's it.
Yep.
Like
That's it.
so
That's
if
it.
you're frustrated about something, you're nervous or you're anxious or whatever it is, stop, take a second, like, or you're worried or whatever it is, just stop, take a second. It's like, why am I really worried about something that's either in my control, I can fix it if it's in my control, or out of my control if it's beyond my control? Why am I worrying at all? So like, there's all these different things that you have to like think about. So that's just like, yeah, that fits right in, man. So we did this exercise, and it was like, you have to map out your work day. So map out your work day and then put a priority against everything you do. Now think about doing that in your personal time. It's like, shit, I don't know what's in my personal time. Like,
Right.
what's the things I want to do? Like, what's the, what's the things I need to do, and how do I apply priority? So for me, it was, I know I wanted to start reading again, and this is going to sound so stupid, but there was a point where I didn't read a book for like maybe 10 years, just because, not because I'm illiterate, but because, great technologies like Audible and podcasts existed, and I just, I'd lose interest, 30 pages in.
Yep.
Could be a revolutionary book, but I was done. But so anyways, I dedicated time, every morning. All right, so this is a priority for me. My priority is wake up, drink a boatload of water, go, put the pot of coffee on, and then just go read. Like, right, just knock out 30 minutes, read. Before I knew it, man, I probably cranked out like 30 books this year. 20, 30 books. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's stacking up, man. Not too bad, but that's 30 minutes a day, but it gets me interested. So when I go to bed, I start reading again some more, but it's all about prioritizing your time. Just like figuring out what the thing that you want to do. What is something you want to do that you want to do? Is it work out more? Is it, spend more time with your kids, whatever it is, write that shit down, dedicate a time slot to it, and then just keep doing it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. That's it, dude. That's it. I feel it. I feel another better you, better BIM coming on.
Better you, better BIM, and that's our rant, number 32 of this episode.
Yeah, right. But so going back before our tangent there, Revit 2021.1, right? The new release came out, and I do like a few of the new features. Specifically, I really wanted to talk about one being the FormIt conversion. So the FormIt importing models in, and to me, I personally feel like FormIt is overlooked a lot of times. Like, I know it kind of compares to SketchUp, and
well, not compare, kind of. It does. It directly compares to SketchUp.
Exactly. It is. Yeah. It is. And I mean, it combines with we found this out earlier, but Bing Maps, right? One of the big things I liked is if you have let's say a commercial office building downtown Portland or downtown Seattle, and you want to see how this building is going to look compared to its surroundings and how close we are, and what just being able to visualize, right? Because that is a big key part of design. FormIt itself, dude, for a conceptualizing program, I think it's awesome. And with 2021.1, they gave the capability to bring the materials, like pretty much just mapping the materials from FormIt into Revit. And then you can pull those materials, so it is an actual material library. I mean, I know they had one before, but being able to map these materials inside of Revit back to the same things you were using in FormIt, or being able to switch them over and change it into essentially like Revit materials, right, that you've already gone through. I honestly think it's a great integration, and I think it's something that can be used more and more the further that we get, especially with generative design. If we can start pushing that into something conceptual like FormIt, and saying,
I think FormIt has a Dynamo engine already.
It does, dude, and that's very exciting too. If we can start running those parameters and saying, the owner's looking for this size of building, they need this much space, they need this many offices, kind of what have you, and then we start putting in the code compliance, right? Let's say the county code or the local code, whatever you're looking at. You start putting in those requirements, you can start seeing, okay, how do we stay within these requirements as compliance, but we get what the owner's looking for? And I think you start combining all that, and it can give you something really, really great. I know with some jurisdictions, dude, it's actually kind of interesting, but some of the jurisdictions I've worked on personally or worked in personally require you to have certain finishes and materials, or require your building to look a certain way to fit in with the
I think
surroundings.
the town you live in actually requires a certain look for commercial buildings.
It does. Yes, it does. And I think being able to take that into account when you're designing itself and knowing, like, okay, this is what I got to use. I think that's perfect, right? I mean, and this is before it even goes into Revit. Before a lot of that, like, you're making cubes and you're making squares and circles and pushing and pulling, dude. Awesome.
So I am going to take all the responsibility in the world of FormIt not catching on as much as it should have. And the reason being, I did a demo of FormIt on a webcast, and it was the most pitiful thing I have ever. I was like, look, and then I'll just draw this. And I think I like reformed some lines on like on a map image, and like of like a parking lot across the street of one of our offices or something like that. And then like I drew some circles on top, and I was like, boom! It's like the concept building style. It was like, all right, so
that's awesome.
So if you saw that, and that's the reason why you didn't adopt FormIt, I apologize. I hadn't used SketchUp before, so I didn't really know what people wanted to see. I mean, I know how to use. I know what they wanted to see in SketchUp, but I don't know SketchUp. But I was like, oh, it's simple. Here you go. Click some buttons, done.
Yep.
But that said, I will say, FormIt, while it's overlooked, and it's primarily that mindset of, well, I'm good at SketchUp, I'm just going to keep using SketchUp, even though you're already paying for it, because you probably bought the AEC collection, so you already have access to FormIt. But whatever the reason, if you're still using SketchUp, I got to tell you, man, like, I had this customer, he was like, oh, well, I don't know if we're going to be, he had the same mindset, somebody that's like, oh, I've used SketchUp forever and blah, 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 since Google. We just showed him a video of like, hey, look, this is what FormIt can do. She goes, oh, that's perfect. I don't need SketchUp anymore. I was like, what? So I don't know. There's like a mindset that needs to be overcome. Some people can throw away their, I've been using this for 15 years, whatever mentality and shit. But
you know what I love, dude? I love the fact that FormIt, I don't want to say free, but FormIt is a little, but it's cheap. And what I really want to talk about is the design itself inside of FormIt. It doesn't care. Revit, you're very constricted to the parameters. Like, Revit has a mind of its own when you're drawing in it. And I want to draw a curtain wall, let's say, that actually kind of arcs out. It actually bows out a little bit and maybe comes up. In Revit, you're going to have such a hard time doing that unless you design like an in-place mass or something like that, right? Little freeform mass to try and adapt to. If I do that in FormIt, it literally takes minutes to draw any kind of surface that I want to, and I can import that into Revit and either A, keep the material that I'm using, or B, say, you know what, this is going to be a wall, and I'm going to say wall by mass, right? And I'm not designing it in Revit. I'm using something almost like SketchUp, but again, FormIt, and very quick and easily, like, just draw out my wall, draw out that curtain wall and say, nope, this is that type of wall in Revit, and it's good to go. Right. I really like that kind of functionality of it because, again, Revit has a mind of its own and it wants to tell you how to design things sometimes.
Yeah, I wonder if that's kind of like the McNeil products like Rhino and whatever that are more like surface modeling and stuff. But then in the end, most people still end up bringing that into Revit. So it's like, well, maybe we can just get by with FormIt. Maybe take another look at FormIt and you'll be amazed. I don't know, man.
Yep, we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows? Who are we to recommend anything, anyways?
Yeah, we're a bunch of nobodies, bunch of guys. But that said, man, like, if you're already paying for it, what's the harm, right? If you already got it in your collection,
check it out.
Most people that I chat with about their collection, they're like, oh yeah, we bought the collection because either they upgraded for maintenance and it was the same price for them to do the collection as it was pretty much do anything else, or they needed to have AutoCAD and Revit, or they Civil 3D, but it was only $600 more to buy, an AEC collection, whatever the reason is. They opted, or they wanted recap with it or something like that. That's probably what it was. Like they had Civil 3D, they wanted recap. But they're not playing with all the different tools, all the different workflows. We're talking about FormIt here for Revit, but there's tools on the civil side too. Infraworks. Infraworks is highly overlooked.
Oh yeah, dude. The feature extraction we've been playing with in Infraworks lately has been so awesome. The structural bridge design workflow from
still my favorite
Infraworks
workflow.
and Inventor into Revit, dude. Awesome.
To watch it use the Inventor. So first of all, when you design a bridge in Infraworks, it uses ASHTO tables. And then what it's doing, because you can put a design road and all that, dude, it's so amazing. We can kick the surfaces out to Civil 3D, but when we go to Revit, it uses the Inventor engine, and you see it spinning, just turning, and it's like running through on the bottom. It's converting, it's creating those families using the Inventor engine for Revit. It's pretty awesome.
It is very awesome, dude. Very awesome. I think that the new improvements for 2021 for the Inventor linking were awesome. And then the 2021.1 improvements, I mean, they're just tweaking little things, right? You know that they've got to tweak it to make it better, right? But I mean, honestly, dude, it's awesome. It really is.
Well, honestly, I think Autodesk moving to a subscription model, it actually puts the onus on them to actually make a more competitive product.
Yep.
Otherwise, somebody's going to find something else and jump to that because, hey, if we're paying every year, we didn't lose a $13,000 investment for an initial purchase. We're paying, $2,900 a seat or $2,600 a seat, whatever. Anyways, so let's drop this and buy whatever. So now it's forcing Autodesk to go into a development mind cycle. It's actually given them an R&D budget too, which is pretty cool.
Definitely, dude. I think that's awesome. It really is. Sorry, Michael's trying to get out of the door over here. I was like, what is he doing? Oh gosh, kids.
Kids, man.
Yep.
Kids. So speaking of Infraworks, did you see the video I shared about the Infraworks COVID? So like you can do, obviously, like Infraworks is great at many different things. It does analysis particularly well. So like we can do like mobile analysis, like cars, all that stuff, trains, whatever, or buses, whatever we want to do, we can do an analysis. But you can also do pedestrian analysis. So you can figure out, planning for spacing inside of schools and hospitals and just getting back to work, all that sort of stuff. You can map all that stuff. The comings and goings in supermarkets, how far people need to be spaced apart. You can do all that in Infraworks. Like it'll do that. Yeah, it's awesome. You can do a visualization with it. It's pretty damn remarkable.
Okay.
So another cool thing
about it. Sounds pretty awesome for like the COVID requirements there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's pretty dang cool, man.
Sorry, I got a little chihuahua out here on my deck kind of barking her little butt off. Oh, there she went. Okay, we're good to go.
No worries, man. No worries.
My dog's over here just barking her little butt off. Another beautiful day.
You got a chihuahua?
Yeah, well, Bella. She's like a chihuahua mix. She's a chihuahua, like, what is it? Oh, gosh. I don't want to say papillion. That's what it is, papillion. A papillon. She's a papillon.
I have no clue what that is, man.
Dude, it's a little dog that likes to bark a lot. That's what she, and it's fine in a way because I'm like, all right, people know I have dogs. But then also in the same sense, it's like she barks a little too much to let people know I have a dog. Like everybody knows I have a dog.
Yeah. You ever realize that the smaller the dog, the more they bark?
Oh yes. The small dog syndrome. That's definitely a thing, I feel like. Yeah.
My neighbor's got 2 little dogs. They're probably, I don't know, like this big each. There's 2 of them.
Yeah.
And we've lived here for a year. No matter what, just runs up to the fence barking nonstop. Just nonstop. The owner comes outside, bribes them with a treat. They go back inside. Like that's literally like the routine every time. I'm like, do they ever pee? Because like I didn't even see. Like he just ran to the fence and barked at us. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, Bella will come outside. You know, she'll be fine for a few minutes, but as soon as she sees any other dog, hears another animal, sees another person, she has to bark instantly and just does not
Hey,
stop until
hey
like, hey,
you, hey
yeah.
you, hey you.
Makes me think of the frickin' what is that? The woodchuck? Hey, 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 Alan, Alan, Alan. That's definitely my dog.
Oh man.
Oh
All right.
man.
All right. Tangent number 37.
Yo, yeah, in the
Oh,
books.
so speaking of upgrades and updates and all that fun stuff to products, we were chatting about Revit. Did you want to bring out the cool, update for 2021 in the cloud?
Oh yeah, dude, that was awesome. I've been waiting for this for. I mean, I'm sure everybody's been waiting this for a while. For a while, anyways. Beers have been actually. I haven't had my first beer yet, so liquor's getting to me. That's what it is. But nah, dude, in BIM 360, you know the Revit model cloud upgrade. We've been waiting for a little while that hasn't been activated for 2021. Now it is. So there we go. You can now upgrade all of your models in a single folder to the new version. So we've talked about it before being one version at a time if you upgrade through BIM 360. It's still kind of that way, but they have brought in the 2021 capability now, so you can upgrade to the 2021 version.
That's nice. That's nice. Well, there's
Yeah.
another cool item that goes with BIM 360. So we kind of saw this coming. Well, first of all, I'll tell you what it is. So Deepak Mani, guys following our podcast should definitely follow.
Deepak's cool, dude. Deepak's very knowledgeable on a lot of these
Oh my
different
gosh, yeah,
Gets a
yeah.
lot of out.
He's a Autodesk expert elite, very knowledgeable gentleman. But anyways, so he shared this, and I actually haven't had a chance to verify, but it definitely makes sense. So what he said was with the new updates to model coordination, we can actually do coordination, automated clash detection inside of the design module.
Yep.
So if you're cloud sharing through design, you can do coordination with IFCs, Revit files, whatever. You and I kind of knew this was coming already.
Yeah.
Having beta tested some stuff and knowing that Autodesk joined the two departments. The coordination team actually joined the design team, which to me made sense. Like, well,
yes.
Why the hell can we only do coordination off of
Or
plan?
design?
Yeah. Plans. Projects needs to happen. Project files, especially
it needs
when
to go off the project files. It was going off the plan files before, and it was a disconnected process. You'd have to like copy and paste or take your Revit model and push it up into the plan files. But
well, there's no way to push it from the plan file. You have to download it and then re-upload it. That's the pain in the butt. Like there's no like migrate to plans button.
Yeah,
which is a pain in the butt because I've had customers that were like, all right, so we get through a certain phase through design, and we're in the plan section. We want to now issue this to the project section so we can actually start sharing other file types and then sharing that to the people. It's like, well, that's great, but your sheet sets and all that stuff you created, there's no way for us to carry that information down through to the project section. So hopefully all this gets cleaned up. That workflow does. But now the fact that there's an integration between coordinate and design sounds, it's pretty awesome. Again, I haven't gotten to test it. I haven't seen it. I just saw Deepak Mani, who is somebody that, we definitely value his, what he says. I have no reason to disbelieve him is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, and honestly, being able to connect that process, I think, is awesome anyways, because a lot of times in coordination, that is your disconnection. It's making sure that you have the proper versioning. You're waiting for somebody to update you. You'd put it into Navisworks or into Coordinate in this sense, model coordination, and update it so it can run the automatic clash detection, right? And kind of go from there. But if you can connect the design process with coordination, so when that model updates, when they publish a new version, you're already running clash detection. Now, I'm going to say something even cooler than clash detection is clash prevention. Check that out. You guys want to we talked about this last week, man. I'm still on that. I'm still on that clash prevention. If you're designing and it actually tells you, hey, this is a clash. Yes, let's do that. Cut down on the things that I gotta go ahead.
Where did we see it? There was somebody shared something, right?
I believe that was Bird Tools, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was clash prevention, yeah. And they've been doing more and more with it, not just in the sense of like model against model, but model against point cloud clash prevention. I think that's an awesome integration.
Well, yeah, that's actually that's very relevant, especially for what we talk about most of the time. Point clouds. Let me check this out. Model for clash prevention.
Man, this is a very awesome farmhouse tarragon here. That's a very good, like lavender beer, dude. I'm all about it. I am all about some lavender cider.
Yep, you're right, man. Yeah, it sounds good, dude. Lavender grows like weeds in Oregon, dude. It's crazy.
Dude, I love it so much. I have 3 lavender plants growing out here, and awesome.
It smells so floral and piney. It's like natural potpourri in Oregon. It's crazy. If you don't mind the allergies, it's freaking, delightful. Yeah, it's called Clash Preventer. That's what it is. It's by Bird Tools, man. Good memory, dude.
Yeah, occasionally I'll get something right.
I had to like fact check you.
Don't quote us on statistics, bro. Don't quote us on statistics. But
sure, dude, I'm telling you, it's coming, man. You were like double fisting two glasses of whiskey. You've got a cider over here. I'm like, there's no way he's pulling this up. There's no way he remembers this. But, oh man,
yeah, dude. No, I've seen quite a few improvements with that the 2021.1 release. I like that upgrade Revit Cloud models. I'm loving the fact that you can actually reset your shared coordinate systems, and that's one big thing we've been looking at. I've heard a lot of kind of feedback with shared coordinates through BIM 360 because it kind of ruins your shared coordinate system when you push your model up. Yeah. Right, you go to link them together, and that does suck. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that sucks. Like pushing that model up there and losing it. It's not awesome. But I know that now they've been working more on it, especially with acquire coordinates from, models published in BIM 360, resetting your shared coordinates. But also, if I can give you guys a little tip and trick here. The way that I like to do it is if you lose your shared coordinates, I'll start a new Revit template and I'll link both of those models in, essentially reset that shared coordinate system, position them where I need to, save it. So, you're going to go ahead and publish coordinates, what have you, and then actually take that Revit template or that model that you're working on, save that into BIM 360. Guess what? When you go to get into it next time, all your shared coordinates are cool. I know it kind of sucks to have to go through and kind of redo it. So I'm looking forward to the point when Autodesk gets to, where it recognizes the shared coordinates and it doesn't kind of switch it when you put it up into the cloud. I'm really looking forward to when we get to that point. But as of right now, a good workaround for that, is creating that new model, publishing and acquiring those coordinates, and then go ahead and push it back up, save it into BIM 360, because when you save those coordinates into, or save that model with those coordinates into BIM 360, you're setting it all up again.
What do you think why the disconnect is there for not carrying the shared coordinates through BIM 360?
I've been wondering about that myself. I've got a couple of opinions on it. One being when you push it up, like when you go to link it in itself, I guess the upload process, like the central model process of it, it could lose it. I'm not sure. Honestly, my opinions would be, again, when you load it up, it loses it, or when you move it from your, let's say, your local computer where you've already got the coordinate system, everything set up, and you're pushing it into the cloud. It's like when you move a file, right, and you're referencing it. Anytime you reference a file and it moves its location, unless it's a relative type of path, it breaks it and it doesn't know where to look. So I'm almost wondering if that's the case that it is when you push it up into the cloud, that model all of a sudden doesn't know where everything is, right? All of my links, my relative links, have to be reestablished once they're on BIM 360 because that's a different path type. And at that point, once I have it, I save them all up there, then it recognizes it. But that's my theory anyways.
Sure. Yeah, that could be it, man. I have no clue. I was just curious. Dude, I'm like just checking all these things off our list, man. We're about an hour in, and there was something I wanted to chat about. And I know you get this too quite a bit, but we got some cool fans, man.
Yeah.
They reach out to us all the time, like, which is awesome. Like, always getting feedback. My favorite part though is getting a new listener who I have no connection with on LinkedIn, so I have no idea how the heck they heard our podcast because that's the only place I typically share it.
Yeah.
But somehow they got a link, and then they, try to friend me on LinkedIn. And it's like, oh my God, I love your podcast. I'm just, getting to BIM. Like, we got one from a master's student today in Germany, which is really cool. We got a shout out from another gentleman who ranked his favorite BIM podcast as like the summer of BIM. It's like, dude, this is so cool.
Yeah,
to be
that's
on
awesome.
List,
Yeah, dude, it felt really good to be on that. It always feels good when you guys reach out. We have such great listeners. I really do feel like we have great listeners. We have a great base like a fan base kind of following us, right? And I love it. Like I said, I love it when you guys reach out. And when Joey gets something, I get something. It always feels good to see, oh, great, you guys are doing awesome. Thank you for this information. Great. It lets us know kind of we're on the right path, right? We're just trying to help out as many people as we can, and of course, give us a reason to drink some beer and bullshit for an hour and a half.
Yeah, like this isn't Dave. I mean, you know this obviously. But this isn't our job. We don't get paid for this.
No.
We do this because we like it. We like. Again, to reiterate, the way this podcast started, we had water cooler talk at work that was just going on way too damn long, and we were just chatting about BIM processes and shit going on and how people can overcome it, new technology, new processes, things people should be looking at, cool things that we heard from somebody or somebody somewhere, saw at a trade show, whatever it was. But we always had these pretty long water cooler talks that ended up pretty much consuming a lunch period or something. So it's like, all right, let's record these. I don't know if it was Paul or somebody was like, you should just record these. I was like, all right.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah. All right. Maybe we will.
Yeah. But here we are, man. Several thousand downloads later, and loving it, man. So
yeah, dude.
Keep it up. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you again to all of our listeners, though. You guys are really kind of what help us keep going. I mean, honestly, with seeing the number of people that we've had follow us, it's honestly a little more motivation. Like, oh shit, I got to make sure, this week we're doing cool. And what are we going to cover this week, man? What are we going to talk about? And it gives me a little bit of excitement because I know that somebody's out there listening. Somebody's out there and they're taking what we have or what we say and they're kind of weighing it. And, we don't expect you guys to take everything, obviously. It's just here and there. If you can take one thing away from this podcast, is it valuable? Yes. I think at that point, if you can take one thing away from this podcast, it's worth your time to listen. Yeah. And at the end of the day, who's not going to listen to a couple of dudes just bullshitting about drinking beer and BIM, right?
Oh, yeah. And if you got something you want us to drink, let us know. We're always out for trying new beers. Next week, I've got my beer. I was going to drink it today, but it's not cold. But I got two little 2.5 gallon kegs.
Yeah.
Full of some Citra IPA. So we'll see how that goes, man.
Hell yeah, dude. And also talking about like getting on that kind of subject there. If you guys want us to cover anything, if you guys have any controversial topics.
Not controversial. Come on, man.
Man, let's do it. If you guys got any controversial topics you want to bring up and say, how do you guys feel about this? Let us know. Reach out. We are always willing to kind of take a step back and see what we can talk about. We're all about the drama sometimes. I'm going to say sometimes, but we're willing to jump into it and give it a look over and willing to talk about things, man. I can't even, thank you guys enough.
Yeah. And if there's somebody out there that has a strong opinion, hell, let's get you on the podcast.
Yeah,
Let's hear from you. We're happy to bring this on. I mean, we've got a whole line of people that we want to have on that we're trying to get on and trying to work out schedules. It's just, it's just me and Dave bullshitting. So
that's it. You guys ever got something you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. Bring a bottle with you, or can, or water, whatever. We don't care.
As long as you write vodka on the water bottle, it's all good. Nobody will know.
Get a sticky note and put it on the side of your water bottle. We're cool.
Speaking of vodka, real quick, man, what the heck was behind your Virgin Mary?
Dude, so that's pretty funny. I wanted to drink during the day. I've been getting more like I really want to day drink, but I shouldn't day drink. I really want a Bloody Mary, but I recognize the fact that I should not be drinking at this hour. I'm gonna go ahead and drink a Virgin Bloody Mary.
I think a Bloody Mary was invented to drink while the sun was still out. I think that's the reason. It's a breakfast cocktail, man.
Okay,
I mean, come on.
So if I'm honest, I ran out of vodka.
All right.
I tried it with whiskey and I tried it with tequila. It is not the same. It is not the same.
What's the tequila one called? Bloody Maria.
Oh no, yeah. Is it a Bloody Mary or what?
No,
it's a Dirty Mary, or that's the
Bloody Maria.
Bloody Maria. That's it. Bloody Maria. And with the whiskey, it's like a Dirty Mary or Brown Mary, something like that.
No, I'm gonna say no to both those. They sound disgusting.
It does sound disgusting, but it wasn't too great either. I'm not gonna lie. The whiskey taste was not good with the tomato and the olives and stuff like that. I'm like, maybe bacon. Maybe bacon.
So yeah, whiskey and bacon. I mean, come on.
Bacon. I mean, come on. That goes. Yeah.
There was there's a shot called a breakfast shot, and it was like, I don't know, some kind of like blueberry whiskey, some other shot that you had with it. But anyways, when you mix it all together, it ended up tasting like a pancake, and you eat a piece of bacon afterwards, or something like that. I don't remember. I had this when I was like 22 or something like that. I was of age, guys. I was of age.
Oh, it's a Bloody Mary Ann. A Bloody Mary Ann is
the whiskey one.
Yep.
No.
I don't know, dude.
No.
Yeah.
We're past, man. I love my Bloody Marys, dude. In fact, like, I've been on this low carb diet for, I don't know, a few weeks. The only exception is I drink like 2 IPAs a day. And Bloody Marys probably be the one drink that I'd replace the IPAs with, man.
Oh, in a second, dude. I love Bloody Marys. I would drink those things all day, but
I mix Zing Zang and spicy hot V8 juice together, and then I pickle a lot of veg anyways. So I put some vodka in there, throw some pickled veg in there. I call it good, man. I'm done.
Mm-hmm. I started it's the I don't know what to word to use here, but I always want to like start adjusting the recipes. Like I bought this. I've been buying different Bloody Mary mixers, and I've liked quite a few of them. The Private Selection was good. Lefty O Duels. There's a couple other San Francisco-based ones I've used. I can't remember that one I used. Started with an A, Aguilermo's or something like that. Pretty good mixes, right? And I'm like, I wonder what it'll be like to make my own. So I went out and got some tomato sauce or tomato juice and Worcestershire and
say that again.
Dude, that is like one of the Worcestershire. Sure. Sorry. That's one of those words I probably will never actually like get down. I'll never be able to properly say it right. But
I was born in this town, real quick. I was born in this town called Worcester, Massachusetts. It's spelled Worcestor. Worcester. So everybody called it Worcester. Nobody could pronounce it. And it's the same thing. And I found out, like, I'm like, what can you say, Worcestershire? They're like, Worcestershire. So, all right. You're just an idiot. I got it. It's not my city. You're an idiot. Nah, go ahead, dude.
That's funny. Oh, dude, I've been kind of tweaking it there, and I started with the sauce and the tomato juice and garlic and all that's trying to kind of feel it out myself, and of course I texted you like, I think I need some tomato paste. Like it's just not thick enough, man. It's not thick enough. It's just not there. But it's been an interesting little learning process, and I made them virgin so I could drink a few more without getting completely stupid by noon. But
Just saying, V8 has all the vegetables you need, bud. It's right there.
That's definitely true. That's true. I
I
like that.
I drink V8 like it's going out of style though. So like, I've always been that weird guy that I love V8. I don't know what it is. I just love V8 juice. And it's weird because like the spicy hot one's like almost a little too spicy for me. But if I buy the V8, the regular V8, it's like, oh, this is bland as hell. So it's like, all right, buy the regular one, squirt like half a bottle of sriracha in there, call it good.
Yeah, there you go, dude. There you go. Throw a couple of green olives in there and some pickled asparagus. I love pickled green beans. Oh,
Pickled green beans are good. Yeah.
pickled green beans are so good. Yeah.
So have you had the Bloody Mary at the Mountain Hood Timberline Lodge yet?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Dude, it's right up the road from you, man. Got to give
Yeah,
that a try.
we go up there like once a month.
Yeah, try to time it out during the Americana Musical Festival. Obviously it's this year's past, it'll be next year.
Yep.
But like, there's an Americana Music Festival. It's free. Go up there, hang out. There's bands playing. Go hang out at the bar and get yourself Bloody Mary, dude. The kids will have fun running around, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude. I'm gonna have to try that. TJ, my neighbor over here, actually tempted me to go to the coast because they had some ridiculous Bloody Marys. Like the dang thing had like sliders, hamburger sliders on it, and like celery stalks and asparagus and like all kinds of stuff, bacon and everything coming out of this glass. And
It's
I'm
a
like,
meal. It's a meal in a glass.
That's a meal in a glass. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. That's actually one of my favorite things about a Bloody Mary too. I'm like, I'm feeling like a liquid lunch today. Let's do a Bloody Mary.
Get your double serving of vegetables. Call it good, man.
Yes, sir. There you go. Heck yeah.
All right, I love it, man. I love it. Well, hey, man, I'm gonna end this. It's about 11:30 my time, so.
All right.
Man.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Brewing with BIM.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody, and hit us up, follow us, like, subscribe, whatever you guys do. Keep it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.